I want to welcome on AJ Owens' mother, Pamela Dias, and with her, the family's attorney, Anthony Thomas. Good morning to you both. Ms. Dias, let me just start by giving you just person-to-person condolences. On behalf of everyone at Court TV Network, we're so sorry for your loss. This can't be easy to speak about what happened to your daughter, and just person-to-person, we're so sorry you're going through this. May we start, please, with how you were doing this morning and how AJ's children are doing this morning?
Julie, this has been one of the hardest roads that I've ever traveled for the children. Just seeing that video of the news being broken to the boys just broke my heart. I had never seen it. The children are once again having to experience monumental milestones without their mother. We're already halfway through the first week of school. This was a very special time for both mom and the children. And once again, she's not here to experience that with them. And we're on the heels of many more experiences that she will not be a part of. We have birthdays coming up. So the kids are sad and they're hurting. As you can imagine, this is a horrific time in their life. And we're just trying to cope and get through it as best as we can, but it's difficult times, difficult days, always.
I think it is just unconscionable. It's a nightmare, and yet you're living this nightmare. And everyone watching, just thinking about what you're having to go through, what your kids are having to go through. It's hard to imagine the pain, to wrap your mind around the pain. And Ms. Dias, I think one of the things that makes this even more painful on these facts is that it seems, based on what this defendant has admitted to saying, that race was a part of this. Would you talk about the painfulness of hearing that and the animosity that was going on and the terrible things that were being said? Oh, and we lost Ms. Dias' shot. We're going to do what we can to repair it. I believe we still have attorney Anthony Thomas, though, and certainly you can answer this question. I'm just going to ask you about some more of the legal matters, but you're familiar with these facts. Mr. Thomas, the N-word being used, the R-word being used, directed, at Ms. Owens, her children, by this neighbor in this ongoing feud. How much do you think race was a part of the issue that the jury is deciding now in this trial, the issue of the homicide?
Well, certainly the racial slurs used against AJ and her children were definitely something that were a key sort of critical point made in this case. The lawyers, the prosecution and defense, have both went back and forth with the judge in some of the pretrial hearings with regards to just that same issue. And what the judge used was that, or said or ruled, was that the racial slurs won't actually come in. In fact, the only thing that the lawyers will be able to say, or even the witness testified to, is just a simple term, a racial slur. Now, when you say racial slurs, I'm sure most adults know exactly what's going on when you just look at the races being played out here. AJ and her children are Black, Susan is white. And so when those sort of things are said and tried, potential to inflame the jury. So what we would be just the truth and the facts to come out so that the jury can make an informed decision about Susan's guilt.
Most certainly. Mr. Thomas, tell me, have you filed a civil action?
There hasn't been a civil action filed at this time.
Okay. Is it your intention to do so perhaps after the conclusion of the criminal trial?
Yes, the family has given me instructions to make sure that we fully make sure that Susan Lorincz is both tried in a criminal and civil court.
I appreciate that. I have a clip for you, Mr. Thomas, I want to play here. This is from the defendant's attorney, and he's talking about why he says she shot AJ Owens in self-defense.
She had just gone through hell. AJ Owens, her neighbor, had come to her door and pounded that door violently for minutes. And Susan shot through that door. And what the evidence will show is that she shot through that door for self-defense.
And Attorney Anthony Thomas, tell us, what do you say to that legal argument that her defense team is making?
False narrative. Absolutely a false narrative. AJ Owens was not trying to break down the door. As a matter of fact, you don't get AJ at Susan's door, but for Susan threatening AJ's children. And so when the intent is to knock on the door to talk to Susan, there's no intention to break down the door to hurt Susan. Susan feared for whatever repercussions she thought was there, but most certainly there was no presence of AJ knocking down the door. There was a glass sliding door next to the front door. If AJ had any sort of intent to break into Susan's home, the easier route would have been through a glass door, not through a door where she's knocking on the door asking Susan to come outside to talk to her about threatening her children.
Appreciate that. And fortunately, we were able to restore the shot of Ms. Pamela Dias, AJ's mother. I want to go back because we didn't get what you said earlier when everything kind of froze. But I was talking about just how painful this is for you and your family, and how it's hard for any. I always say on the show, I think there's no greater pain than a parent who has to bury their child. And I mean, tragically, you've had to do that, and now you're looking out for your grandchildren, and they're growing up without their mother. And there is a racial component to this case that has to be very painful for you to hear and for your grandkids to hear. Would you speak to that, please?
Pain of losing a daughter or your child is something that you cannot describe. It is a pain that hurts with you constantly, daily, something that will never heal. I see and listen to the audio of my daughter fighting for her life, the moments that she took her last breath, all because Susan recklessly took the law into her hands. And she's never showed any modicum of any bit of remorse for taking the life of a mother. Showed only concern about her cats being safely secured. She has always been harassing, agitating the neighborhood children. She was just a nuisance, a terror, a racist, calling them slaves, the N-word, telling them this is not the Underground Railroad. She was known as, quote unquote, the Karen of the neighborhood. And to know that someone took my daughter's life senselessly, recklessly, when she posed no threat, I don't know how I or the children can come back from that.
You are
something
so
that will
strong.
live with us for the rest of our lives.
And I apologize, I didn't mean to step on you there. We have a little delay. I was just saying how I admire your strength so much. You are so graceful and are exhibiting so much strength, and I can't imagine how hard that is. With respect to this, quarrel that was going on between the defendant and your beautiful daughter, how much of it were you aware of, Ms. Dias? Like, did it ever come up in conversation? Did AJ ever talk about it? Just curious how big of a thing it was.
My daughter and the children had told me over the years about, they referred to her as the Karen, and that she would videotape them, call them names, but I didn't understand the magnitude of it. When you hear someone was videotaping the children, I dismissed it as
Unfortunately, we lost Ms. Dias' shot again. Attorney Anthony Thomas, if you know what she may have shared there, if she had shared with you how she kind of dismissed the videotaping, by all means, feel free to jump in. If not, we'll leave it there. I don't want you to speak for her if you haven't had that discussion already.
Well, yeah, so the knowledge about Susan Lorinc's interactions with the kids was something that was known amongst Ms. Dias, as well as with AJ and the kids that was shared. It was remarkable to see that what Ms. Dias probably didn't understand with regards to the magnitude was that the sheriff's department, law enforcement, was called during these situations that just escalated into Susan calling the police, trying to create a case to get AJ and her children somehow in some level of trouble with law enforcement. Each time law enforcement arrived out to the scene of the apartment, they would leave, and actually most of the time leave with instructions Susan to leave the children alone because they were just kids playing in an open field that was neither owned by Susan nor her landlord. And because of that, everyone just wanted Susan to stay away and to stop calling law enforcement. But she never did. And so, we can say, unfortunately, in this situation, there is extensive evidence from police body cam from February of 2022 all the way to July or June of 2023. And that's when, unfortunately, Susan killed AJ Owens.
Prosecutors are going back. They're going back to that history. We're seeing it in the trial, developing how there was a buildup to that dreadful day, June 2nd of 2023. Mr. Anthony Thomas, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Please give our best regards to your client, Ms. Pamela Dias, and thank her for us, for the time that you both have shared with us this morning on opening statements. You're welcome back always.